Is that your badge number?
Well, I hope it is.
Let's
take a photograph of it, please.
Yeah. Just wondering. I've got to prove it. Obviously, I don't know you from Adam. You could be someone just who's
Well, we're not going to do this for fancy dress, are we? Right. As my colleague explained, the reason why we stopped you is because you fit the description of somebody acting suspiciously. Right? Now, you've given a legitimate reason why you're here.
Yeah.
Right, but we need to see some ID and some proof that you are here legitimately.
No, I understand that.
Can you see that, please?
I understand that, but on another term, I have actually got human rights.
Is that your vehicle there?
Nope.
Okay. So, what form of identification have you got on you to say you're actually canvassing?
I've got ID on me, but I don't have to legally show it because I've not committed a crime.
Right.
Obviously, if you...
We've had a phone call about, like I said, a suspicious male, so we need to ascertain whether you are, you say you are, but I take it you're not going to give us your name.
I get this every week.
Verify. Yeah, but you've got to appreciate we get calls from members.
No, I understand that, but I'm doing a job, I'm paying me taxes, I'm earning money. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand, I have not committed a crime.
If you were calling us, surely you'd want us to follow it up, wouldn't you? That's why we've been sent here, to follow it up, we want to be rest assured when we leave here today that you're not up to anything.
Suspicion built solely on a vague phone call, without concrete evidence of a crime, doesn't meet the threshold for lawful detention or an ID check. The officer's comment about needing to confirm the auditor's identity is troubling, especially given that the auditor never misrepresented who they were. They were simply exercising a legal right to withhold identification in the absence of reasonable suspicion of a specific offence. Under UK law, an individual is not required to provide ID unless they are lawfully detained on established grounds, such as genuine suspicion of criminal activity. That standard wasn't met here. Relying on unclear third-party reports to demand identification risks enabling profiling and overreach, particularly when no offence has been committed. In cases like this, the law is designed to protect against exactly that kind of unchecked authority.
I understand it in that way, but I'm not...
Your name gives you ID, we could ring SafeStar, say, and confirm...
Well, you can ring SafeStar and you can ask them if, obviously, if you've got canvases in this area and they'll validate who I am.
And what's your
But obviously, I'm not giving it out.
Well, when I ring up SafeStar UK and say, you've got canvases, and they say, yeah...
They know I'm in this office, they know I'm around here. Because we get issued to a certain area and they keep both names of the people.
So where's your ID card?
It is on me, but I don't have to show it. I've not committed a crime.
We're going round in circles here, aren't we, chap?
No, I don't mean human rights, mate. I've not committed a crime. Obviously, you're putting me under alarm and distress now. You both cover it going round me. Obviously, you're trying to say that I have to show my ID.
You're putting me under alarm and distress.
How am I?
It's your ID. We've shown you our ID. So
yeah, but end of the day, you're a public servant.
Instead of recognizing the auditor's lawful right to withhold ID without reasonable suspicion, the officers double down, pressuring him further and, in a surprising twist, accusing him of causing harassment, alarm, and distress. The irony is hard to miss. How can trained professionals, equipped with legal authority and the weight of a uniform, claim distress simply because someone calmly asserts their rights? When pressed about their own conduct, one officer tries to justify the imbalance by saying, "We've shown you our ID." But that misses the point entirely. The issue isn't whether officers can identify themselves, it's their persistent demand for the auditor's personal details without any lawful basis. By reframing themselves as the aggrieved party, they shift the narrative away from their own overreach. In reality, it's their circular reasoning and refusal to accept a lawful no that escalates the encounter. This goes beyond questionable policing, it edges into the territory of abuse of power.
Listen, chap, I may be a public servant, but I'm not your servant.
No, I didn't say you were my servant, did I?
Okay.
I said, but if you're walking around with a police uniform which gives you powers...
Stop going on about YouTube, it's like this public servant, okay? I'm not a servant, I'm a police officer.
Yeah,
okay?
Which means, but you serve the public.
I'm a police officer.
Right.
Okay. Police officer. I'm not a servant.
Yeah.
So let's get that quite clear before we start.
Well, there's no need to get angry, is there? Because now you're putting me under alarm and distress. Now I feel threatened.
When the officer says, "I might be a public servant, but I'm not your servant. I'm not a servant. I'm a police officer," it reveals more than just frustration. It exposes a troubling mindset. The statement disregards one of the core principles of policing. Officers are there to serve the public, not themselves. By making this distinction, the officer projects an inflated sense of authority and a misunderstanding of his own role. What makes it worse is that this comment doesn't stand alone. It comes after a string of pressure tactics, intimidation, and a clear refusal to respect the auditor's lawful rights. The tone is dismissive, confrontational, and steeped in superiority. In that moment, the officer isn't just sidestepping accountability, his rejecting the very values democratic policing is built on. For the auditor, who has committed no offense, the emotional impact is real. It magnifies the harassment, alarm, and distress already created by the encounter, turning a rights-based standoff into a display of unchecked power.
What, you feel threatened?
Yeah, hence why I'm recording it, just in case any of you's trying anything cheeky. I've had it before where police has thrown me on the floor for asking him, have you got ID?
So police officers thrown you on the floor?
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
I've asked for him.
Very strange.
Well, not all coppers are legitimate, are they? Not all coppers are nice. So at this moment in time, am I detained?
Yes, you are.
What for? What am I being detained for? Have I committed a criminal offence? I've not committed a criminal offence. How can you detain me? Because then you're holding me hostage. You're now restricting my free way of movement, because now you're saying I'm being detained for a crime I've not committed. I will just literally. I'll send this to me my lawyer, mate. This is going straight to my lawyer.
First things first, you're recording it.
Yeah.
Has it just picked up the word that you just said to me?
Yeah.
Right. This is your first and last warning. You swear at me again, you'll be arrested. Do you understand me?
Yeah, but I'm asking why am I being detained?
Listen to me. Are you going to listen?
I'll listen, but I want you to listen to my point of view.
You are being detained at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So we can speak to the caller.
Yeah.
Because as I said, you fit the description of a person seen acting suspiciously.
Yeah.
Right? Now, until we speak to the caller and fathom out what the caller says to us, you're not going anywhere.
Right, so you're detaining me against my own will from a crime that I've not committed.
This is a textbook example of police authority being misused. Detaining someone without clear legal grounds, based solely on a vague description and an unverified phone call, isn't just bad policing, it's a direct infringement on civil liberties. The officer even admits the detention rests entirely on the caller's word, adding that the auditor will remain held until they figure it out. That's not how the law works. Under UK law, particularly the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, PACE, officers must have objective, reasonable grounds to detain a person. A hunch, a vague suspicion, or an uncorroborated tip from the public simply doesn't meet that standard. Detaining someone on such flimsy grounds flips the principle of justice on its head, presuming guilt before proving it, and undermines the very foundation the legal system is meant to protect.
You're going to admit that now on camera, that you're detaining me when I've not committed an offence?
Till we speak to the caller.
Yeah.
See exactly what the caller says you have or haven't done.
Right, but technically you can't detain someone if they've not committed a crime, because then that's holding them against their own will.
Well, once we speak to the caller,
yeah, but now
the crime has been committed, then I will tell you what's going to happen next.
So you're actually admitting you've illegally detained me for a crime I've not committed?
We haven't illegally detained you.
Well, if you've not detained me, then I'm free to go.
Tell you what, walk up there and we'll follow you then if you need to speak to you again.
But then it's harassing.
Off you go.
But then it's harassing.
No, what I'm saying is, if you'd like to leave,
right.
if you'd like to leave now and walk whichever way you like, carry on. And if I need to speak to you at a different time, I'll come after you and have a word with you.
The officer's response is alarming and shows a blatant disregard for both lawful procedure and individual rights. Instead of addressing the auditor's valid concern about being unlawfully detained, the officer casually offers, "How about you walk away and we'll follow you," as if this somehow resolves the problem. In reality, it only heightens it. Surveillance without legal grounds amounts to harassment, especially after the auditor has clearly asserted their right to be left alone. What the officer is proposing isn't a harmless suggestion, it's effectively an informal, unwarranted stop. By shadowing the auditor, the officer is hoping to build suspicion after the fact, rather than acting on genuine, reasonable grounds in the moment. This is policing by intimidation, plain and simple. If there's no lawful basis to detain someone, following them under the guise of speaking again isn't just unreasonable, it's a misuse of authority.
I'll just put a complaint in. I'll just put a complaint into IPCC.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because obviously you're illegally detaining me for a crime I've not committed. So obviously, like I'm going to ask again, am I being detained for a crime? Because obviously now no one's answering. If I'm not being detained for a crime...
I'm just in the process of speaking to your manager.
Right.
If you'd like to walk away, you are free to walk away. And if I'm detained as a crime, I will come after you, won't I? It's up to you, sir.
I'm not going to turn me back. I'm not going to turn me back on officers so you can body slam me.
Do what you'd like. I don't think I'm capable of body slamming.
Hey, there's police out there that body slam people for the fun of it.
When he's asked for an officer's ID.
So you've illegally detained me, you call me a liar. Yeah, but now you've also illegally detained me. So wait until IPC.
Why? We're going around in circles. course I've said, if you'd like to walk away, walk away.
Well, just for the camera, have I been committed as a crime?
Black trousers, black trainers.
Right, so I've not committed a crime, so... Well, you've given me permission to walk away. I'm not, mate. I'm not, mate. Now you're making lies about me. You've also illegally detained me, like I said before, when he says you're now detained. For what crime? He couldn't give me a crime. So he's legally detained me on the spot. He's also kept me hostage. So I do know my rights, and this will be going to IPCC. I will be sending it to Milan. I'll wait until it's all over the line. I don't need the log number. I've got your badge numbers. Because I don't trust it. I don't trust the fact I can walk away with you.
I've been showing this to ID in the first instance. I don't think it would have taken this long. So when you're talking about being...
Yeah, but I don't have to show my ID if I've not committed a crime or I'm on suspicion of crime. I've not committed a crime. I'm working.
The officers remark that the situation wouldn't have escalated if the auditor had simply identified himself, exposes a deeply flawed way of thinking. It shifts responsibility for the officer's own overreach onto someone who was lawfully asserting their rights. The auditor had committed no offense, made it clear he was working, and even explained his legal position. Yet, rather than respecting those facts, the officer framed the refusal to comply as the real problem. This isn't about public safety, it's about ego. The officer couldn't handle being told no, and instead of reassessing the situation within the bounds of the law, he doubled down, implying the escalation was the auditor's fault. That mindset is dangerous. It suggests that lawful noncompliance, simply refusing an unlawful demand, can be treated as justification for detention or further pressure. For any law enforcement officer, that attitude doesn't just undermine public trust, it erodes the very principles they are sworn to uphold.
Your own benefits.
You could have last time you worked 10 minutes ago and you could have gone on your way then, couldn't you? So
we'll have to go so we don't have body slam. So we don't body slam.
Before you get that urge.
Yeah. So, it's right service. Free to go, Sam?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to leave.
I took them to a criminal court and a civil court. At the criminal court, I was awarded £35,000 because of the incorrect ways and the way they did the jobs, which was performed illegally. Officer Stephen Haynes, PC Jarvis and PC Warwick, one of them was suspended for 2 months with further investigation. One of them was fired and the other one was given a slap on the wrist and was allowed to still do the job, but under investigation by their own.
The £35,000 payout says everything about the seriousness of this misconduct. This wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a blatant violation of Kerno's rights. One officer was fired, another suspended, and a third left under review from the start. The officers acted on arrogance, not law, demanding ID off the back of a vague phone call with no legal grounds. When Kerno refused, they escalated. The male officer's not a servant remark and the female officer's claim that compliance would have avoided the issue show a clear disregard for civil liberties. This wasn't policing. It was control. And it came with consequences. Kerno's refusal to be intimidated proved why standing your ground matters, and why abuse of power must be challenged.